Yes, so I believe you all. How was your weekend?
Fine.
I believe we had a wonderful weekend. And guys, okay, good morning, guys. As you all know, your favorite heavy duty equipment instructor team. So today we are live at CHIVITA factory. As you all know, I'm a supervisor with one of the biggest ever equipment contractor in Nigeria at the moment, which is COLIFT. And currently, we are CHIVITA. We are here to run the operation for today. So as you all know, every Monday morning, we always have what we call safety what? Pep talk. And ordinarily, we are done with the general safety pep talk with management. So this moment, I as the supervisor, like I always say, it's important that we educate ourselves or we remind ourselves all the safety measures we are expected to carry out while we are on duty on our operations. So quickly, we'll be talking about our previous safety pep talk for this morning was risk assessment. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And I believe if you have been in my shift, anybody that have been in my shift, you should know that I've always talked about what we call risk assessment. Risk assessment, why do we normally carry, or what is risk assessment? Who can tell me which idea you get about risk assessment? Yes? Anybody? Risk assessment. Risk assessment. What did they talk for that side? What did they say about risk assessment? What do you know about risk assessment? Because I know I must talk about anybody. Quick one. Yes. Abraham, what do you have to say about risk assessment?
Risk assessment is the process whereby maybe you're on your machine operating and maybe the trailer gets to park in a position that it will not occupy your forklift.
Okay.
You have to indicate the driver that you should adjust very well and pass that is not going to dent your forklift.
Okay.
And the other hand is that risk assessment is if the truck driver is not putting on winch,
Okay.
under the trailer, you have to indicate the driver so that it will not cause a damage.
Okay.
And if the goods is not packaged
Properly
and properly arranged, you have
yes.
to indicate the supervisors or the staffs to wrap it up so that it will not cause a damage.
Okay, thank you, Abraham, for that. In fact, he has used example to illustrate what risk assessment is all about. Risk assessment, he has said so many things about risk assessment. Like I always say, risk assessment, they said to be forewarned is to be forward harm. Is better you do it earlier than doing it later. Now, what this simply means is that at any point in time, risk is something that can cause accident to you. So meaning, for example, you are coming to this place of work, ordinarily you are entering this factory. You begin to see different things that can cause or pose stress to you. What are those things that can cause accident or hazard to you? For example, you said a truck coming in and the truck is not well properly parked. Now you are expected to load that truck. The risk assessment you are expected to do is that to make sure that number one, the truck is properly parked. Am I correct?
Yes.
The truck is properly waged. That is the risk assessment. Now it's not only about outside there, where you are expected to go and work, just like we have said, or where you want to lift load. Maybe you want to lift a particular, let's say, iron pallet are stacked. You know you want to pick. You don't just go there and pick. You have to hold on, look around, check to be sure that okay, the items are properly stacked before you pick. You might just be at the point of picking, something happens and something shakes and everything falls down. So therefore, it is expected of you as an operator, it is your job, it's your responsibility that you must always check one, your machine. You have to make sure you check your machine to assess it, to be sure that your machine is not posed to risk. How do you check your machine? By carrying out your what? Your checklist. You're also carrying out risk. You want to be sure that the machine is free of risk. You want to be sure that okay, the machine is properly charged. You want to be sure that, for example, those that are using diesel machine, you want to be sure that the machine is the cable terminals are properly connected, that will prevent spark that may cause fire. You have to be sure there is a process whereby we want to replug our machine. Am I correct? Yeah. That you must before you disconnect your machine, you have to switch off all these things is just to avoid what? Spark. You are asked to go and work somewhere. You look at the environment first. If the environment is not safe, my brother, what do? You have to do what? Call on safety management. Hello, sir. Hello, ma. I was at the safety on this location. I was asked to go and work. And when I got to the scene, I discovered that iron pallets are not properly arranged and so on. Therefore, you now ask yourself, critical thinking, am I the one to do or to correct those unsafe arrangement, or it is my duty to call on the safety department. Okay, it is beyond me. Let me call on my supervisor. Supervisor, this way I was asked to work. Okay, this thing is beyond what my own job. Let me call on safety department. Now when safety comes in, they will now begin to analyze and tell us what they are supposed to do before we carry out the job. On no account as an operator should you compromise any job that you know that can pose threats to you, that can pose what accident to you, that is unsafe to you. That's why the LSR number 2 says, when you see something, an unsafe act, what do? You say something about it. You report those issues that will definitely what cause accident to you in your workplace environment. Am I communicating? Yes. What are those possible accidents you can find in your those accidents you can find? Fire accident, am I correct? Yes. All these oil spillage are also accident. Am I communicating? Electrical accident. All those things are they are things that can cause risk, that are at your risk. For example, where you plug your machine, you discover that maybe the cable connections are bad. What do? You call on your technician to put it safe, because you never can tell where current can come in and it will shock you. Am I communicating? Even the food you eat, make sure you do risk assessment. The environment you eat, look at the environment to be sure that the environment is safe before you do what? Because I must tell you, sickness is everywhere. Am I communicating? So in that, if you have any question, you can ask me. If not, if you don't have any question to limited time, because you know they have already called us on the job. Does anybody have any question on that risk assessment? If not, this morning I want you all to critically carry out checks on your machine to be sure that your machine is safe. One, when you are going to work today, let this go with you in your mind. That as an operator I must make sure I carry out those assessments. Ordinarily, if you want to report all the risk in this environment, they go reach 1 million. But for safe way in operation, we must make sure we follow all rules and regulations. Safe acts in the aspect that they also make mention of what? Before you be in this environment, you are expected to have your complete PPE. Before you be on the machine, you are expected to be on your complete PPE. What are those PPEs? Your helmet, your reflective, and your safety boots. Having a good clothing on your body, not loose clothes that will cause accident, that will drag you here and there. You are expected to, even Mr. Lanos, you dey on Sultana Abina team. On a Monday morning, you are expected to be very, very active. Am I communicating? Risk assessment also starts with the mind. If you are not medically fit, my brother, you are already this morning when I wake up, I begin to check. Am I good to go like this? Am I strong? Okay, I am strong. Okay, I'm not strong. What is that preventive measure I must take before I go ahead? I must take medicine. If I'm having a slight headache, I will take paracetamol. If any part of my body is doing me, I have conducted risk assessment on my body. Safe way to carry my body, I must make sure I take medications if I am not feeling too well. Or I must make sure I stay back at home and rest if I'm not. Do you understand me? All these things are expected of us to do before the accident will not happen. So when you do all these things, you carry out this risk assessment, it means that 100% you have prevented a lot of accident. And remember, safety starts with you. Am I communicating? Sure. Safety starts with what? With you. And the rule says you are responsible for the safety of yourself and safety of others around you. When you say something and you say something and somebody does something about it, you have saved yourself and you have saved every other person in your workplace environment. Listen, as a team, whenever you are doing something or you are on a safe act and your team member call upon you, bros, guy, why are you doing this? Don't speak offense. Don't feel the person is trying to control you. Just have it in mind that everything somebody is doing, call your attention, is just to do what? To correct your mindset. Probably you might be doing something wrong unknowingly. Imagine you are lifting a pallet that is not properly stacked. Imagine you want to drop a product inside the truck and the truck is not properly packed. Imagine you are lifting a load that is almost falling off. You say, make I just manage. There's no managing in it. This field is well calculated. If you fail to do it, it will affect you. And when anything happens, what happens? It will delay the production, the operational process. Production is going to be paused. So before you start, it is good you check properly. Not until you start using your machine, you now discover that maybe this machine does not have oil, or you now discover that the machine's brake is not working. Meanwhile, you have the time to carry out all this check before that time. You discover that your vehicle has been doing overheating, your forklift truck is doing overheating, and you have refused to report to your technician, and you still want to use it to work again. Remember, the moment this machine start working, to get to a point whereby it will break down, and that breakdown is what we call downtime. And most companies do not like to hear the machine has or we are on downtime. They don't want that slow motion, they don't want that stopping, because I remember sometimes we will say they'll be calling from Ghana, they will say, product don full, line don full. Yes, the line is full because there's a pause in movement in one particular section. You see managers moving around. What exactly is causing this? So if, for example, the machines have been checked, fixed properly, all these things will not be encountered. I mean, we have a complete 12-hour shift without any hitch. Am I communicating? Yeah. That is why you are trained. That is why you are a professional. The reason why you are in this environment is because the company that hired you believe that you got the potential, believe that you have been trained, believe that you are a professional forklift operator. So if you are out there and you want to be in this environment, it is important that you know that it takes a lot to become a professional forklift operator. Not just knowing how to use the equipment, but also it contains a lot of safety measures that you need to understand before you get into this workplace environment. Guys, have I spoken your mind?
Yes.
Are we good to go?
Yes.
Remember, I will remind you once again, pep talk is for you to know, to remind you what you are expected to do whenever you step in here. Remember, we have pedestrian walkway. Remember, we have operators walkway. Remember, we also have traffic lights. Please, on no account should you be found wanting, breaking the company rules and regulation. Always work according to company's code of conduct. Remember, the percentage your battery is supposed to get to before you come down to come out to do what, to come and charge. Wherever you are being designated to work, do a risk assessment. Should you have any challenge in doing anything, please, you have your chain of communication. What do I say? Chain of communication. And remember, we have a team leader in our shift that you must always take orders from whenever it is necessary. Am I communicating? So team leader, what do you have to say to your team for today? What information do you have to pass to them, and what addition do you have to tell? What do you have to tell them in terms of the operation? If you have anything in your mind, please speak it out. Let us address it now before it's too late. Thank you. Yes, good morning. If you pause down.